And we are live. How are you doing, Podfeet? Wait, Podfeet, you look much smaller tonight. What happened? Who is this? What is your name, young sir?
Forbes. Forbes. I don't want to do it.
Forbes? Is that Forbes?
Yeah.
That can't be.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Good to have you, Forbes. Are you going to be doing the show tonight?
Not the whole show.
Maybe just part of the show?
Only the first of the show.
First, the beginning, the intro, as they say. So, do you want to say anything to the audience?
No.
You don't? That may not work for podcasting. You have to be able to talk. That's why I'm normally not in front of the mic.
Say goodbye to everybody. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, Forbes. It was a pleasure having
Bye,
you here.
everybody.
Bye-bye. All right.
Close the door.
There's our host.
Well, he was all excited before he got on the mic, and then he just froze. He said he was going to be fun. He was going to talk. Oh, well.
Yeah. Little mic fright.
Yep. That happens to Steve every time, right?
Well, I just don't like being in front of the mic. You are pausing.
What
All
do
of
you
a
mean?
sudden, your video is pausing.
Oh, that's neat.
Okay, it's back.
Okay, good. How amazing does my video look?
Pretty
Oh,
good.
You're pausing. That's good to see.
Maybe we have bandwidth issues.
Maybe. Shouldn't. But it is probably time for roll call. Did we get a call for roll call?
Let's see.
Yep. Al did it right at the top of the hour there. He did it.
Good job,
Okay.
Al.
But we don't. Where's the GIF? How can we do it without
I
a
don't
GIF?
see the GIF.
All right. I'm going to do roll call. It's Aaliyah and Kevin and Bill and Bruce and Jason, Frank, Mike, Jill, Lindsay, the daughter. We've got Mr. Ed, John, Nolan Toddy. That's Nolan Toddy, the son-in-law. That's what we needed. And we've got Rick and Sandy and Shai and Steve and Michael and Al. Wow, it is packed. And I saw Rose in the sidebar. So it is packed tonight.
Nice. Thank you all for joining us after a couple of down weeks for the live show. But
Yeah.
we must thank Alistair and Bart.
Well, there would be much thanks when I start the show. That's for sure.
Yes. Oh, there's Alistair. Hi, Alistair.
Oh, Alistair's here. Hey, Alistair. Boy, you say his name and he just shows up.
Just pops up. Very good.
We're drinking a beautiful sidecar made by Nolan. Let's see. This has sour made with fresh lemons from our tree. It's got mint. It's got blueberries. It's got a little bit of simple syrup that he made and Old Tom gin. I am a fan. First time I've ever had one.
Sidecar, huh?
Wait, Alistair's saying Steve's a lot louder than Allison. They kept telling him that he was too soft, and he kept turning himself up.
Okay, is that true, everybody? You're all hearing this? It could be the difference between I'm louder. So are you all listening on Discord or on YouTube? When you say I'm louder. Discord. How about you, Shai? Discord or YouTube?
Turn it down in Discord, maybe? Well, actually, it doesn't matter to me. 'Cause
Same
I'm not
volume
listening in Discord.
All right, let me turn myself down now.
Alrighty.
Oh, YouTube. Ah,
Hmm.
interesting. Let me turn this down.
This is not going to be a very long show. Let me make sure you can hear playback. Tell me if you hear the intro music.
All right.
All right, good. We are, I think we're ready to get going, Steve.
All right.
Nobody hears crackling on Steve's mic.
I don't hear it.
Sounds crackly as all get out. No crackling.
Maybe on the
So
receive
weird.
end.
Or maybe on the, I would think YouTube they would hear it because I should be hearing just what YouTube is hearing, right?
If you're listening,
Alistair
not
hears a
through
little
Discord.
bit of it. So does Shy.
Background noise, faint crackle.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely noticeable. Alrighty. I am going to start recording. Okay, and Lindsay's on YouTube, so is Shy. All right, I think, let's see. Have you, okay, that's too much me. Is that what you guys normally look at? Oof, too much. Okay, I'm going to shrink that down. All right. Here we go. Let's record this show. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, February 5th, 2023, and this is show number 926. Well, I simply cannot start the show without first giving gigantic, huge, over-the-top thanks for Bart and Alistair for producing the shows while Steve and I were gallivanting off in foreign lands. I think both of their shows were terrific, and I had a really good time listening to them on one of our many, many plane rides, and it was also made possible because of Bruce from Tennessee and Stephen Getz. Like I said, I really liked listening to these shows, had a lot of fun. I'm so proud of our 17-year streak of never missing a single episode every week. I don't believe any other show can say that. And I do say we because it clearly takes a village to keep this going. Well, next week, I'm going to be doing a segment on tech and travel, but I did want to tell you what an amazing time we had. We flew to Argentina, first to Buenos Aires, and then down to a tiny town called Ushuaia, which is referred to as the end of the world because it's the southernmost city in the world. From there, we boarded a 150-person cruise ship where it took 2 full days to get to Antarctica. In preparation for the trip, I created a very nice diagram. Of course I did. And it was of all the places we were going to go and things we were going to see in Antarctica. It turns out, though, when you're on an expedition cruise, you have to be ready to just roll with the weather and end up someplace completely different. We only saw one of the things we were scheduled to see on my diagram. But it turned out that was okay because everything we saw was amazing. Imagine standing on a beach with 40,000 penguins. I'm not exaggerating. They went as far as the eye could see. We saw 3 different kinds of penguins. It was just spectacular. On the second half of the trip, we saw Iguazu Falls, or Iguazu Falls as they say it, and that's the second largest waterfall area in the world, right behind Victoria Falls. It's on the Iguazu River between Argentina and Brazil, and it was positively astonishing. It was 1.75 miles long with 275 separate falls. Now, we never pictured ourselves as world travelers, but we are absolutely in love with going to exotic places and learning new things. If you ever get a chance to go to a weird place, say yes. As you can tell, my voice is not up to its usual dulcet tones. I finally got rid of my laryngitis and my cold from last time, and while I was on the ship, I got another cold back to back. So I'm not going to do as much recording as I had planned, but luckily we have a Security Bits with Bart, and Jill from the Northwoods sent in a segment about Steam Deck, not to be confused with Stream Deck, and Bodie Grimm of the Kilowatt Podcast did some interviews at CES just for us. I got to tell you, it killed us not to be there to see him for his first CES, but we had to stay safe as possible to make sure we would be able to go to Antarctica. So we didn't go this year. Hopefully we'll get to see him there next year. All right. I might do a chapter mark. Okay. Oh, you don't suppose the thing is going to work today, do you? Nope. It is not. Of course not. All right, someday. Okay, there it is. And let's see, what did I paste? I'm going to get here. Nope. All right. Nope. Oh, that's interesting. Now I'm copying and it's telling me it doesn't want to copy. There we go. All right. Switching over to Security Bits. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Why is Security Bits next? That's not what I want. I want Chit Chat. Here we go. That's what I want. Excuse me. Here we go. By the way, it's really hard for me to check the chat because I don't have enough screen space, screen real estate. But, all right, here we go. This week, our guest on Chit Chat Across the Pond is Bart Busschots with Programming by Stealth number 144. When last we recorded, Bart started teaching us the basics of shell scripting using Bash. We learned how to collect terminal commands into a reusable shell script, but we didn't yet learn how to accept any kind of input. In this installment, we learn how to take inputs either from the execution of the command or from user input and how variable names are created for the different ways of receiving input. We also learn about exit codes, which are really more like error codes, and how they can be used in Boolean logic. Now, this knowledge will come into play when we learn next time how to do conditionals and loops. It's a short episode, and as Bart says, not a heavy lift, so I enjoyed it quite a bit for my first time back. You can, of course, find Bart's fabulous let's see. And of course, as always, you can find Bart's fabulous tutorial show notes at pbs.bartificer.net, and there's a link in the show notes directly to this episode. All right. Is Kevin misbehaving?
Yes.
I'm shocked. All right. I guess as long as he gives us a chapter mark warning. I'm going to start out with Jill, and I think Jill probably says her name, but let's find out first before I record.
Hi, this is Jill from the North Wood.
Okay, good. Let's see, how's that to this episode? Cut a little bit there. And do a chapter mark. And do all this by hand. All right, my New Year's resolution is to figure out what's wrong with this script again. All right. Let's hear how this transition sounds. It's directly to this episode.
Hi.
Oh, no. You cut too much off. That's not good. Let's go to like right there. Try that. And there's a link in the show notes directly to this episode.
Hi, this is Jill from the North Woods. When I switched over to Mac...
Ooh, that's a big gap. Let's cut that down for a bit.
North Woods. When I switched over to Mac, I lost a lot of my Windows games. That was the last piece that I couldn't seem to figure out how to get on my MacBook. And some of the games would play in Mac, like Minecraft or even Civilization, which are two of my favorites. But then there were other games. Mostly I buy them from Steam, and most of them don't translate over to Mac. So there I was, a bunch of purchased games that I really enjoy playing, and no real way of playing them on my MacBook. Now, one of the things about gaming is that it is the one thing I do for pure relaxation. I can knit and I can play podcasts, and it's fun and exciting for me to do. But if I really just need to relax, I'm just stressed out. I had one of those days the other day where I just sat there and played a couple of hours of video games and suddenly my stress was gone. What am I supposed to do? Now the good news is one of my favorite games, No Man's Sky, is coming to MacBook in Ventura. What about the rest of the games? What other options did I have? I could try Microsoft's Game Pass system, and that works through a browser of all things, almost all browsers, and all the games that you buy through Microsoft or are provided through that Microsoft Game Pass are available for you to play. Problem is, one, I don't have that many games purchased on Microsoft. Two, you're streaming the game through a browser, which means that it may not be as responsive as you hope it would be. The last thing is, it's a $15 subscription, which is only going to go up over the course of years every month. The last problem is I have an Xbox X controller, which does work with Mac. I've played other games with it. Works fantastically. However, it doesn't seem to work on Microsoft Game Pass with a Mac. Now, this was about 6 months ago, and I haven't tested it since, but I couldn't get the two to work together. Since most of my games are over at Steam, which is owned by Valve, that also was a big setback. Then, Steam announces that they're going to come up with something called the Steam Deck, not to be confused with the Elgato Stream Deck. This is just a gaming device. It's a lot like the Nintendo Switch, a small, portable, handheld item, maybe about the size of a loaf of bread if you sliced it the long way, which also means it's very portable. So because the Steam Deck was coming out, it was a natural, obvious choice for me. All my games are on Steam. To talk a little bit about what the Steam Deck is, again, it's a handheld gaming item. It has Linux on the system itself, and it is pretty easy to grip. It has controllers and a very bright screen. It connects with USB-C. You can hook up a monitor through the USB-C. You can use Xbox controllers, Bluetooth mice, keyboards. So if you're into computer gaming and you're used to all the commands you play to play some of your games, it's easy to do. Many of the games that are on Steam are available to play on the Steam Deck. There are a few of them that aren't available, but most of them actually do work, even if they're not verified. There's very few of them that error in any sort of way where it's unplayable. I noticed that when I played Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is not verified to be on the Steam Deck, all you had to do is switch one of the loading settings, which I found on the internet, and it suddenly started playing. Fantastic. The bonus is that I can take it with me whenever I travel from work. I even brought it camping and didn't use it that much because I really try to do outside things. There was some bad weather at the end of my trip. And what else was there to do other than to sit in my tent and play with my Steam Deck? I also tried playing with it on my way back from California on the airplane, and it was a good distraction. Although I was race car driving in Forza 5, and that caused me to be a little bit unstable when I drive around curves. I always drove right off the road every time we hit a bump on the plane. But that's pretty funny in and of itself. So the Steam Deck for me was the perfect solution. Portable, has my Steam games, and the price is not so bad. Plus, it gave me a lot of availability to do other things. The systems are all exactly the same except for how much storage they have on them. I have a lot of games, so I went with the 512 gigabyte system that went for $649. That one also comes with a carrying case. It has a better anti-glare screen on it, along with the bigger storage. So for $529, you can get the 256 gigabyte version of it. You get a carrying case, but not the exclusive carrying case. For $399, you can get the 64 gigabyte machine. It has a micro SD slot in it so that you can increase the size of the hard drive space by using the SD card. I put another SD card in that one, so I even would have a little bit more space. I have a lot of games on Steam, and some of them are pretty large. Forza 5, Forza 4, and Microsoft Flight Simulator are all really large games. Most of the other games themselves take up very small space. You can also buy a dock for it. The dock is $89, and it gives you a resting point with a USB connector. And then outside the back of the dock, it has a 4K 1440 HDMI 2 DisplayPort. It has some USB 3 drives, a network port, and you can also charge the device through it. So it is pretty handy. And many times I play at home, I'm putting it through my computer monitors using the Xbox controller. Their website even shows more things you can do with the Bluetooth. But they say this is an AMD chip called an APU chip, and it's optimized for handheld gaming. It's a Zen 2 Plus RDNA 2 powerhouse, which is enough power, they said, to deliver some of the biggest games out there. Forza can be rather intense, along with Microsoft Flight Simulator, with resources, and both of them work flawlessly on the system. So it is handling some pretty high-powered games that even my Windows machines struggle to play. It says that the CPU can do 448 gigaflops, and the GPU can do 1.6 teraflops. I'm not much of a flops person, but if that means something to you, there it is. It's pretty darn fast. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM on board, and it also has much more video memory available to it as well. The storage is what I said before, that you can buy storage with the device, and you can add more storage using the micro SD cards. The game controller itself is really nice. Some people talk about it being too big for their hands or too small for their hands. I have really small hands, and it actually fits my hands very well. It has the standard A, B, X, Y buttons that you'll find on many regular controllers. That D-pad, which is just the north, south, east, west controller. Left and right triggers, left and right bumpers. It has 2 touchpads on it, 4 assignable buttons, Steam buttons that will also take you directly to Steam Store and your list of games, and 2 analog sticks that you'll find on a lot of game controllers as well. It has haptic reflex, which means it can vibrate when you're doing certain things. I haven't played around with this much. In the Forza game, every time I ran over the grass or a building or something, it would just vibrate, which would annoy me. I mean, the whole purpose of driving games is to run over stuff, right? The display's resolution itself is 1280 by 800. I think the screen is very bright. I mentioned before that I have really bad eyesight, and I was worried that this little tiny screen was going to be a problem for me. However, the screen is so bright, it's IPS LCD, and I can see great on it. In fact, I can take off my glasses and still play. And it's because of how far a monitor is away from you compared to how far a handheld is from you. I think it works great. It has 400 nits for the monitor, and the display is about 7 inches diagonal with a 60 hertz refresh rate. The screen is also a touchscreen, which gives you one more way of controlling things. I find sometimes in Forza there's some menus that are there. It's much easier for me to just click on it than it is for me to route it through the controller itself. It supports Bluetooth 5. It has Wi-Fi for 2.4 and 5 gigahertz and stereo in it. But you can also hook it up to headphones if you want better sound out of it. It even includes a microphone for when you're playing games that are multiplayer and you need to talk to someone. It has a head jack directly on the device itself, which makes it easy to hook up to other audio devices. And it weighs about 1 pound, 8 ounces, or 669 grams if you're in the metric system. So it's very portable, easy to pack, easy use. It was super easy to take out on the airplane with no fuss. Just was a fantastic device overall. Sometimes the fan noise on it can get a little bit loud. People have complained about it. And because people complained about it, they came up with better ways of dissipating the heat. I don't know anything about this, but the fan now is much more quiet, and you can tell they did something to make it better. The biggest complaint that people have when they play it, and it's not such a big complaint for me, is that the battery can play for about 2.5 hours just on battery power alone. People feel that that's a little light. However, I think it's pretty good. I play it a lot of times when it's sitting in the dock, and you can hook up a battery pack to it if you want to do that. I don't want to sit there and play video games all day long like I used to a couple of decades ago. For me, when the battery runs out, that's a good signal for me to get back and do something else for a while. I read a lot of reviews, and people felt like they wanted a better screen the next time. I think the screen's fantastic, and I know I'm not a particularly picky person, so it wasn't a problem for me. And then other people complained that they wanted a bigger drive, maybe a terabyte drive on the device, but you also can hook up a hard drive to it with the dock and just keep it there. So when you're playing on the dock, you have all your games, while maybe you take it with you, you can just have some of your favorites. The other fun thing is that if you want to, you can nuke the OS. This is literally a machine. I am planning on actually installing Windows on an SD card. I have a feeling that when some games come out and they're going to be Windows exclusive games, not through Steam, I'm going to be kind of sad. So if I have a working Windows device on a micro SD card, I can play Windows games anytime I want. And to install Windows on the Steam Deck, it takes one micro SD card with at least 32 gigabytes of space, or maybe even a thumb drive that you hook up to the dock. You also need a Windows PC to create the ISO file, I think, and then you just need a keyboard and a mouse that hooks up through Bluetooth, and you're good to go. And it runs the full-blown Windows, not even just the limited ARM version. I'm looking forward to this project. I think it's going to be fun to run Windows off of there. But I've seen people put other operating systems and other emulations on their Steam Decks so that they can play Nintendo games to make it almost like a Nintendo Switch. It is just a very small PC. The build, you can tell, is a very quality machine. I haven't seen one flaw in the build at all. This is a solid device. And if you've never been to Steam, the games library is absolutely huge. They frequently go on sale. Look at, times like Black Friday and Christmas and other times of the year where they have amazing sales, and you can get these games for only a percentage of the actual price. The other nice thing about it is I felt that the Steam button allowed me to quit games and go into another game quickly. Or, like when I was on the airplane, just quickly shut the whole thing down, put it back in the case, and then just pick it up when I pick up the game system later. So it saves your game. If you're on the internet, it syncs it up to Steam so that your saved games are available to you everywhere. So when I stop playing Windows games, guess what? I put them on the Steam Deck, and there's all my games exactly where I left them. I was just thrilled by that. I wondered if I was going to lose anything at all, and in fact, I didn't. The other thing about Steam is that Valve is great with customers. They're very attentive. They listen to what people are complaining about and responded to it. So even the company itself is just fantastic when it comes to customer service. And what other fun you can have doing it is if you have a Steam Deck, you can call it a Stream Deck or a Steam Desk or a Stream Desk. I mean, it's all getting confusing because everything just sounds the same all the time. But it is much fun to play as it is to say rightly or wrongly. And at home, I never confuse my Stream Deck with my Steam Deck. Two different things, even though they're sitting right next to each other. And this is Jill from the North Woods. You can find me sleeping in a tent playing with my Steam Deck. But if you have any questions, please feel free to look me up at Allison's Slack channel. I'm around a lot of the times, and if you have games or things that you like to play on the Steam Deck, let me know.
Thought it was fantastic, Jill.
What a great review.
Yeah.
That was thorough.
Before I forget, I want to throw in some comments here, so I'm going to do a quick recording here.
Right.
Like to play on the Steam Deck? Let me know.
Well, I actually played that entire review for the live audience, and a lot of people were jumping on saying they thought that the flight simulators wouldn't probably run very well on it because Steam tends to be a streaming service, but this is not a Stream Deck. It is a Steam Deck, and these files are actually local. The games are local, so she said that the performance on the flight simulators in particular was really, really good. The audience was pretty excited about that. Two people for sure looking at buying them. George from Tulsa also commented on Jill's blog post and gave a link to some power banks that work well with the Steam Deck. But he also said something interesting. He said it can be used in full desktop mode running a customized GNOME desktop. And GNOME is what's on the mainline Ubuntu distribution of Linux. And he said Linux desktop applications are available directly from Steam or can be sideloaded with terminal commands. Isn't that crazy? This thing is a little computer for £1. He did also make a note that the cheapest 64 gigabyte version has an eMMC drive, and the larger capacity drives are the much better NVMe. So he's got a couple of other links in there that are pretty interesting. But yeah, it looks like this one's stimulating a lot of interest. My grandson Forbes was listening, and he got all excited when he heard talking about Minecraft on this. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. Well, now here's the question. I said I was going to do 2 of Bodie's.
Why not?
Well,
more Bodie.
We have plenty of content to save too for next week, and I would have to do less work. That's why.
Define plenty of content. How much?
Let me come up with the exact metric. Security Bits is 52 minutes long.
Oh, by itself. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How long are Bodie's recordings?
Bodie's are... The 2 I was going to play are 6 minutes and 7 minutes.
Okay.
I might
Bite
just
size.
do one. Yeah, I might just do one. All right.
But you're going to play it fully, right, on the show or on the live
might as
recording?
well, because we don't have much else going on here. Let's see.
Hey everybody, this is Bodie.
All right.
No blog post for these?
No. And it says that, right? Doesn't it say that? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
It says that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Come on. That's weird. I just typed into the field in Hindenburg and it didn't go. Let's see. Draft on this.
Hey, everybody, this is Bodie. Awkward intro. I had a chance to sit down with Dr. Adil Akhtar, who is the founder and CEO of Psionic. And what Psionic does is they make bionic prosthesis for amputees. And not only did I get to sit down with Dr. Akhtar, but I also spoke with Brian, who is an amputee. He lost his arm in a work accident approximately mid-forearm. Brian uses Psionic's ability hand, which works with his neuromuscular system. The ability hand's muscular system, it allows amputees to manipulate all 5 fingers and the thumb, which is pretty impressive. You can do different grips, you can do different hand gestures, even the rude ones. You can even use the ability hand to charge your phone. It's a pretty impressive piece of tech. I'm not going to be able to explain this as well as Dr. Akhtar and Brian will, so let's go ahead and listen to that interview. I'm here with Dan and Dr. Akhtar of Psionic. Dr. Akhtar, why don't you tell us what Psionic does?
So Psionic develops advanced bionic limbs that are affordable and accessible for everyone.
Okay, and then how did you get into this? How did this become your passion?
Yeah, this is something I wanted to do my whole life, ever since I was 7 years old. My parents are from Pakistan. I was born in the U.S. When I was visiting, I actually met someone with missing a limb for the first time. She was my age, living in poverty, missing her right leg and using a tree branch as a crutch. It's what inspired me to go into this field.
And how long have you been doing this?
We've been working on this stuff for 7 years, and we released the Ability Hand, which is a bionic hand meant for people who have lost their hand. In September of 2021, it's FDA registered, it's covered by Medicare in the US, and it's the fastest hand on the market. It's the first one to give users touch feedback as well.
Oh, it gives you touch feedback. That's super cool. So the demonstrations it's very hard for an audio podcast because this is a very visual demonstration. You guys actually stopped at the South Hall. You had people stopped at the front door blocking people because they were so impressed with what you guys were doing. How does it work?
Yeah, so Dan, actually, you want to explain how you're actually able to control the hand? And so you lost your hand in an accident back, what?
In 2009, I lost my hand in a work accident. I met Adil in 2020, and that is when I started using the ability hand. And I've had many hands, or I shouldn't say many, but I've had 2 hands in the past, and nothing compares to the ability hand. So I'm able to use it with the sensors that are on my muscle. So as I manipulate my muscle, I'm able to open and close the hand. I'm also able to manipulate through different grips that we offer, which is about 32 grips that we have on an app. So I'm able to connect to my app, and I could change my grips when I want. And, I have anywhere up from like 4 to 6 at a time that I could use.
And how do you find fine motor skills?
We're able to pick up small objects. We've done raspberries without crushing them.
Okay.
I'm able to pick up fine things off of the table. I would say they're great.
we talked about strength. You said you were able to pick up objects that are about 75 pounds.
I could about 50 to 75. We start maxing out at 75 before the hand will disconnect from the arm. Okay. But the hand itself can handle it. It's just the arm, the prosthetic itself, is maybe the problem.
No, that's still.
But working out, I could do about 50-pound kettlebell swings, and I could bench press. That's no problem.
Awesome. Is there anything else, Dan, that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
I would just say everyday life. This definitely helps out. I'm able to, cook with it, do things with my kids. I can even tie my shoe. It's definitely a helpful tool.
And you've even broken boards with it, as we just demonstrated.
I will say probably the biggest thing I've noticed between this hand and other ones I've used is the durability. But like Adil said, we broke boards and it keeps working. Where other hands, you may, bump into a table and they stop working. they're it's more durable.
That's awesome. And Dr. Akhtar, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
So we're actually in the middle of an equity crowdfunding raise right now, and if anyone who wants to invest in the company, we've made the company itself accessible to everyone. So if you go to psionic.io/invest, you can actually get in on the action.
Okay. All right. So that's awesome. Thank you, Bill, for coming on the show. I hope you guys have a great CES.
Thank you.
So my audio gets a little bit quiet during the interview because I only have two lavalier mics. So I gave mine to Brian because what Dr. Akhtar and Brian were saying was significantly more informative than the questions I was asking them. I want to thank Brian. Thing about this group, there's probably 5 or 6 of them. Audio gets a little bit quiet during the end. We're saying was significantly more informative than the questions I was asking them. I want to thank Brian and Dr. Akhtar for agreeing to be interviewed. And the cool thing about this group, there's probably 5 or 6 of them running around CES, and they were everywhere. I saw them 3 or 4 times in different places. Is everybody on this team was energetic. Even at the end of the day, they were energetic and they were smiling and they made sure to say hello every time you saw them. They recognized you. It was just, they're a very cool company. And if you know somebody that needs a prosthesis or you're just interested in this kind of tech, I would go to psionic.io.
Wow, that was cool. Let me, I'm going to grab that link. I'm going to go ahead and put that in as the link so people can go right there. All right, let me do a couple of comments.
To psionic.io.
Wow, this was great, Bodhi. You know, I love to do accessibility interviews at CES, and it's sometimes it's hard to find really good ones, but this sounds fascinating. I love it when the guy said he could break things, and what was it he said? He could tie his shoe. That is some serious dexterity. That's really, really interesting. I can't wait to go over and see if I can find some videos on this. And thank you so much for doing this, Bodhi. This is great. I think, Steve, maybe we don't need to go to CES. We just have Bodhi do all our interviews. He did a great job. Now, I was going to play 2, but we actually have a really long security bits because it's been a while, and Bart and I've had a lot of fun just being together after a long time apart. So I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to save the other interviews. Save the other interviews that Bodhi did until next week. And Bodhi, I just love your introductions. It's his awkward is his favorite thing to say about himself. Okay. So
I think no one does self-deprecating like Bodhi.
oh my gosh, he is so funny.
He's really good.
So funny. Okay, I
It's a
gotta
good interview.
cut that out, and I've got to take it out of the title, and I have to put a new one in for next week. NC number 927, and drop that in there, and save and close that. Okay, good.
What are you
Covered
up to?
mine. What's that?
Oh, you haven't. Have you put security bits in? What are we up to here?
What do you mean? What am I up to?
The time.
Time. Oh, so I'm at 26 minutes. So I'm going to
Okay.
do a pledge break.
Got it.
This is going to work out. Alrighty. I've got a lot already pre-written. I've got 2 articles pre-written for next week. I did have another article I was going to do that's about 15 minutes long, and it's a great article, but I don't think you want to listen to this voice any longer than you have to. All right. So let's see. Copy link. I have my new favorite contributor, financial contributor to the show, is, what's his name? Kenneth Kleinman. He apologized for being late on his payment. He's too funny. All right. Here we go. I am so grateful to all of you who help pay the bills that keep the Podfeed podcast shows running. Whether you're a patron by going to podfeed.com/Patreon and pledging a weekly or monthly amount, or if you're like Kenneth and you send in an amount of your choosing using podfeed.com/PayPal on a schedule of your choosing. Kenneth really made me laugh this week when he sent his PayPal donation in. He does a regular donation, and he wrote, "Sorry I'm late." How fun is Kenneth? In any case, I think all of the benefit. How fun is Kenneth? In any case, I thank all of the benefactors of the Podfeed podcast. How did that come out? And he wrote, "Sorry I'm late." How fun is Kenneth? In any case, I thank all of the All right. Okie dokie. Now we can do security bits. Nice, long, juicy security bits. Oh, I gotta move Tony's to next week too. There we go. Okay, good. And so I turned off iCloud while we were on the trip because we had so little internets, and I didn't realize that meant it was going to erase everything in iCloud off of my computer. I was just thinking about photos, which of course turned into a big fat disaster, but everything's back now. Who else has contributed ducks? Yes, Kevin, you are the only duck contributor.
Huh.
All right. Feed podcasts. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time. What about
Wait
a
a minute.
chapter mark?
Hold on. We didn't hear a plink. Did you cut off the plink?
No. Bart has this really janky way of using Dropbox. He moves files from his Mac to his real Mac to his iMac, and then his iMac connects to Dropbox and sends it to me. And it never finished arriving. I only got 6.3 megabytes or gigabytes worth. No, megabytes. And so there's no plink when I record. The plink is on his side. I know, it's tragic, isn't it?
We're plinkless.
We're plinkless. Well, I could do a plink. Let's see, how about this one?
It would be
Wait,
kind of...
I thought I could just play that.
Plinky, plinky, McPlink, plink.
There you go. How's
Okay.
that?
All right, that'll get me through the rest of the show.
I bet that just dropped that file somewhere in the middle of...
Nolan just
my
offered
recording.
something.
What's that?
Nolan just offered something.
What do you offer? A refill?
Forbes to come in and do a plink.
Oh, does he want to do a plink? Or is he going to freeze like he did on the intro? Actually, we should just... I can play Forbes doing it.
What? As part of the recording? Yeah, he'll
No,
freeze,
just,
right?
Just for you. Let's see, where is he? This might be it. Why is it not going?
Blinky, blink.
No,
No,
that's still
that didn't
Bart.
sound like Forbes.
Okay, here's Tom Obnoxious, Plink Tom, Plink Steve, Syracusa, Melissa Davis, Jill. I shall plinky the plink plink. Oh, here it is. Here's Forbes. Takes a second. What is it? Let's see, hang on. Let me mute this. Here we go. Ready?
Blinky blink.
Oh, you
Wow.
were so little when you.
How long
recorded
ago
that.
was that? It's
That
like
was a
3
while
years ago.
Here we go.
Blinky blink.
Yeah. Is that what you wanted, Steve?
That's good. I feel better.
Okay, need to unmute this. Okay, let's check the connection here. Podcast. Now you do have a chapter mark. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchatz. Anything go wrong while I was gone, Bart?
Well, mostly fine, although I
While I was gone, Bart?
well, mostly fine, although I had one of those weeks in work where in hindsight it was a good week. But at the time, it was a very stressful week. So our users never realized how close they came to having all of their internet access disappear. But
Oh my gosh, what happened?
our DNS infrastructure reached a tipping point. It was like, I am fine, I am not fine. It was just the capacity just reached up and it just really hit a tipping point. So I ended up re-architecting our entire DNS infrastructure in a week. But I learned a lot and it was good. Helma will be pleased.
So it didn't fall over in a heap, but it wanted to?
Oh, it was so close, Alison. It was so close. We just about managed to limp through until I could get the new infrastructure spun up. But Helma will be pleased. Everything was done using Ansible. So that is a wonderful new concept. Infrastructure as code. So don't build the server. Build the Ansible playbook to build the server, which is just a bunch of text files, and then use Ansible to build it for you. So it's obviously a cluster to make it a highly available system. So do all the work on the first element in the cluster, build it up as an Ansible script, and then literally stamp out a second server in 5 minutes. And if we want another pair, we can stamp it out again. Oh, it's brilliant.
Is this the first time you've done that?
I've been playing with Ansible for smaller projects. The first time since I started to become good at Ansible that something really big came along. So that is a wonderful. Helma will be pleased. Everything was done. So don't build the second server in 5 minutes. And if we want another pair, we can stamp it out again. Oh, it's brilliant. Really big came along. Oh, you have.
Al, I think we lost your voice if you're talking.
Wow.
Does anyone hear Allison? I don't. We do not have Al. She's working.
Sorry.
There we go.
I coughed earlier. So I've got to do some editing here. I'm glad I kept going. I messed up my microphone for a moment, and so I've got to do some editing here.
Since I started to become good at Ansible, that something really big came along.
Okay. So.
Oh, you have.
Okay. We're going to see.
Are you back?
There we go.
There you are. Okay.
Yes. Well, I probably changed microphones.
Okay.
I'm recording at Lindsay's house for the audience in her house.
I'm really impressed you take all that effort. Actually, and one of the fun things is that with Ansible...
Okay, so if I cut from there to... Oops. From there to there. I didn't know whether that didn't work or not, but apparently... Let's see. Come on, why are you not... That's what I want to do.
Ansible that something really big came along. Yeah.
Okay. A little bit more.
Along. Yeah, actually, and one of the fun things. And along. And one of the fun things is.
One of the fun things.
One of the fun. Big came along. One of the fun things is that with Ansible, everything is idempotent, which is a wonderful word.
Idempotent.
Idempotent. What it means is that you can reapply the same setting. If it's already in compliance, it will do nothing. So it is safe to just reapply. So if you say, make the server a DNS server, and it already is, it will just report back and say, I've done nothing. So it's completely safe to keep reapplying your template over and over again, which is the property of idempotence.
Interesting. That's a fun phrase.
It is a fun phrase.
So was this with your previous hat as a vanilla sysadmin or your new hat as a security specialist?
Oh, that is definitely me going out on a bang on my old hat. My replacement is getting very, very close to starting work. So I'm very close to losing my old hat and full-time having my new hat. Well, lots of fun stuff with the new hat as well. But actually, yeah, while you were away, I had a lot of fun. Got to watch an attack in real time from some naughty people in Lagos, and watch them bang into Microsoft security features and fail utterly to get through them, which was nice.
Oh, yay! Yeah, that's the one you want to see, right?
It was really fun actually. I was able to give a report to everyone else on staff. So yesterday they tried to attack us from Lagos, and here's how they failed at this hurdle, and here's how they failed at this hurdle, and then they tried this and that failed too. It was really nice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the problem is what you don't want to do in your job is have nothing reported.
Right.
Right? You need to tell them, yes, they're attacking, and here's why it worked all the time, because otherwise it becomes like, you expect the water to come to your house through the pipes every day, and they won't realize that it takes effort to have it do that.
Exactly. And also these tools, they're not cheap. Like, the good software tools you get to protect yourself on a modern enterprise, they don't come cheap. That's, Microsoft can give away a lot of stuff for very cheap to a lot of people, but they make their money on the other side with the big organizations. So yeah, you pay for the tools, and so when you can see
And you
the
wanna
tool,
make sure your bosses know that,
bing,
that
bing,
they're getting
bing.
their money's worth.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yeah, it's so much easier to ask for money for stuff when you can say, and by the way, it did this, 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 and this. It's much nicer. So yeah, it's been fun.
Well, in the security front, I did want to report one thing. I was completely and utterly unable to use PIA VPN when sharing shipboard Wi-Fi at whatever it was, 20 kilobytes per second or whatever the bandwidth was.
I don't think the attackers could do much against you at that speed. I think the other thing you have to outrun. Don't be a tempting
but
target.
The bad guys on the ship. What if those other shipboard people were evil?
Rude. They could have got what was on your machine, but they couldn't have done much else because they weren't getting anywhere with your.
Right.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Right. Well, I did.
Shall we get stuck in?
I was going to say I did keep the ship going while you were away, if you'll excuse the pun there. But yes, some more stuff has happened in the last 2 weeks. So some follow up on some longer running stories to start us off. Anchor have come clean and admitted what we already knew. Their Eufy cameras were never encrypting stuff properly. We knew this because we could watch the video streams if you knew the secret URL in VLC. That means it wasn't.
Okay. That's enough real content for you. I don't know if you guys heard Forbes was knocking at the door. That was helpful. We shall make plink, plink, plink. All right, let's see. Move you over here. By the way, I have a new toy. I haven't talked about it on the show yet, but I have a. Do you remember the USB-C display that I got before? I bought myself, or did I maybe Santa brought it for me. Sorry, Santa bought me a 4K 15-inch USB display. So, knocking over my microphone. I can actually hold it up and only probably disconnect everything.
It's super wide format. What's the ratio on that? It's not 16:9.
I don't know.
It's even wider.
Super light. It's like iPad weight. Big iPad weight. All right, now what have I done? I don't like
I think it looks as good or better than your MacBook Pro display.
That's fighting words.
I know.
Yeah, it looks very good. And I haven't had to up the brightness or anything. It looks really good. I don't like, it doesn't have a stand. The Coco Par has a much better stand. And it is wider, which is kind of a pain.
Are you
bigger.
using USB-C or HDMI?
Yeah. USB-C. And I could do
Good.
HDMI, but I like to use USB-C.
Yep.
So, but I carry the HDMI cable just in case. And look at this pretty purple bag I got for it. Anyway.
Well, Santa didn't get you that bag?
No, I think I bought that one myself.
Ah.
All
Thank you, Ed.
For what? What do you say?
Good job, Santa.
All right.
Extra chocolate.
Close this out here.
Next time, I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. But anyway, folks, remember, until then, stay patched so you stay secure.
Okay. Here. Okay, here we go. Well, many thanks to Jill and Bodie for not making you listen to this voice any longer than necessary. I truly hope that I have my real voice back by next week, but we are going to wind it up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeed.com anytime you like? If you have questions or suggestions, just send it on over. You can follow me on Twitter at Podfeet, and you can find me on Mastodon at Podfeet@social. Actually, I'm not sure why I'm even saying my Twitter handle anymore. I haven't been writing there for weeks, so actually more than a month probably since I've posted there intentionally. Now that I don't have a Twitter client, I don't know. I don't feel like going to the web. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So I am on Mastodon at Podfeet at chaos.social. If you want to join in the fun of the conversation, you can join our Slack community where you can talk to Jill, as she said, and you can go to podfeet.com/Slack to do that. And in there, you can talk to me and all of the other lovely NosillaCast castaways. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon or with a one-time or regular donation at podfeet.com/ I should say it again, podfeet.com. Boy, I am off my game. A one-time or regular donation like Kenneth at podfeet.com/ I'm going to have to start this over. For the love of Pete. Podfeet.com. You can support the show at podfeet.com. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon or with a one-time donation or a regular donation like Kenneth at podfeet.com/PayPal. Be sure to let me know if you're going to be late, though. Anyway, and if you want to join in the fun of the live show, we had a hoppin' show since we'd missed a couple of weeks. You can go to live show by going to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Boy, was that enough vocal fry? Subscribe.
I think you fried up the bacon there.
I did. And where's the NosillaCast outro? There we go. You are here. All right. I think if I export there, you are kind of looking at the side of my head a lot here with the way I've got this set up, but I think it's working okay.
Sure, we like the side.
Just curious. What?
Two kids really excited to close out the show.
Oh, they want to come here? Sure. Is Sienna dressed?
Yeah, let's make sure she has her clothes
This is
on.
a family-friendly show. Sienna always talks to the audience. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw, but the last time we were here, she came in, was sitting by herself later on after the show was over, talking into the microphone.
And can you put it so that your speaker is playing versus the headphone?
It's a little hard. Okay. Sienna gets to go. Oh, no, Forbes, you had your chance.
Speaker.
Okay, here you go, Sienna.
Oh, boy, here we
Are you
go.
coming to say goodbye? Hang on. I'll fix it for you, Sienna. Just a second. Sienna does like to talk to
La
me.
la 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 la.
Oh,
La.
no, don't just do that. Here you go, Sienna. You
Hello,
the mic in your
Sienna.
hand here. Say hi, Pip here.
Bye.
She's not very vocal.
On the mic. Talk to her.
Bye.
Talk to her, Steve.
Hi, Sienna. Can you talk to the audience, please? I don't think it's going to work.
Say hi.
Bye. Bye.
No, now you're just making this. Don't just lick it. just licking the microphone.
Eat that mic.
Say hi. Say hi, Pip here. Hi, Pee-Pee.
Da.
Say hi, Pee-Pee.
Hi, Pippi. Hi, Pippi.
All right. Well, she just wants to see.
Hi, Pippi. Pippi.
Oh, did you say hi, Pee-Pee?
Hello, Sienna.
Say hi.
Do you want to talk to the audience?
No, she's not going to talk.
Pippi, what you doing? Pippi, what are you doing?
Hi.
My mommy says that you're...
No. Whatever you're going to say, I don't want you to say, oh, there's spit all over my mic now. Okay, well, this is lovely. This is wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful because Sienna's putting her mouth on you.
All right, I think I'm going to call
Okay.
this. Okay, hang on. Oh, well, there goes my mic stand. Okay.
Yay, I get the mic.
Yeah, this is not working.
Hi, everyone. Say bye-bye, Sienna.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. What you doing?
Oh, now you're talking. All right. I'm going to call it. Thank you, Forbes.
You're welcome.
Okay, that was too much. I can't hear you, Steve.
I'm here.
Oh, you're just not saying anything.
No.
All right, I think it is clearly time to go. It's Siena is in the city in Italy. It is Siena like that. All right, yeah, it was great to see you too, Shai. Thanks for coming, everybody. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everyone.